episode number 79 of the 3 Count Out podcast. We have way too much wrestling happening this week. We have, well, at least today, on this episode, I believe we're talking about 4 different PLEs, but this week we have 11 events happening across multiple companies, multiple cannons. It's all coming together this week. There's way too much happening, and it's Monday, so we barely know what's happening at that. But joining me this week, as always, my two members of New Evolution, because I've just had the Evolution theme stuck in my head all day. The Randy Orton and Batista, to my the Triple H and Batista, to my Ric Flair, Jackal, Joker, and Mike.
Are you calling your? I'm the oldest one here.
Do you want to be Ric Flair?
No, nobody should want to be Ric Flair anymore.
That's why I took the bullet.
How big is Batista's dick? The world may never know. Hi, I'm Jackal. Jesus, you sent the little to talk about list in the group, and good Lord, I'm I'm still scrolling. Still scrolling.
Well, hold on, Jackal, because that's the fun part. Even though there's all these events, 2 of them only have 3 matches so far.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is a Jesus. All right. Who on the docket just said we need to talk about wrestling in all caps in size 182 font in the Google Docs document? Who did that?
Oh, that was Tony Khan. Sorry, he got access.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
He has to make another
excited.
announcement.
Yeah. Well, he has every right to be excited because he's putting on a damn good pay-per-view. But let's run down the list of what's happening this week. All right, get strap in, boys, because we're recording this before Raw. So this is what you have to look forward to this week. Tonight.
No, hold on. Jackal, he said strap in, not strap on.
Oh, yeah,
Dude,
come on. Yeah, you
gotta take this off.
First 5 minutes of the advertisers.
Unhook, unclick. Okay, there we go. On the floor, and I'm ready and naked. Let's go.
Jesus Christ, the thud that made.
Listen, that's the fun part about the strap is you get to pick and choose it, okay?
Well, do you like that strap Monday Night Raw? Because that's what we have in store tonight.
No, it's going in Raw on a Monday. I'll fucking tell you that for free.
So we have Raw tonight, Tuesday NXT, Wednesday AEW Dynamite, Thursday AEW Collision and TNA Impact.
What?
Friday you have SmackDown, you have Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. Saturday you have AEW All In Texas. You have NXT Great American Bash, and you have Saturday night's main event. And then Sunday, we finish with Evolution 2.
What?
That's a lot of wrestling. That's a lot of wrestling.
I wish we could have had a woman here for this, but of course the woman finishes last. And they have to do it on their own.
Not a problem.
No.
Hey, not usually a problem when I'm around.
Oh, fake laugh hiding real pain. Oh, no.
There's so much happening this week, and what pisses me off the most is that apparently Evolution 2 was originally supposed to happen this last weekend on July 5th, and WWE specifically decided to move stuff around to counter-program All In. So this is WWE specifically trying to overwhelm the week because they knew that there was other stuff happening.
That's the big yeehaw boy howdy cowboy Texas show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All in Texas. Yep.
Fuck.
One of AEW's I don't know if it's AEW's biggest event. I know that it is on record to be their biggest United States event. Their biggest event in the US. This was the one where, like, when they went to Wembley, that's what All In London was. It was them going, so it's you know, it's a big show, and WWE is deciding to basically they're trying to counter program it with NXT Great American Bash. Because both of those shows, so let's I guess just get right into it then. NXT Great American Bash so far only has 3 matches announced. Well, 3 matches and 1 segment. But only 3 matches right now. Because this is before the NXT Go Home show. WWE is usually, which actually I want to, before we jump into all of these shows, I just want to say WWE is usually a lot more responsible about actually giving things time to breathe and time to build. WWE right now, there's a lot happening and there's absolutely no build going on. It is just match after match after match after match after match. And like most of these only have 2 weeks of build. And all of these matches should have a lot more than 2 weeks of build. I mean, there's probably matches that are being announced this week for this weekend. Like Trish Stratus versus Tiffany Stratton, which we'll talk about later. Hall of Famer versus your current women's champion. 2 weeks of build.
That'd be important.
And yeah. Anyway, we'll get into that later. I just want to point that out because if you go back to this time last year, we were saying the same shit about AEW. All right, so I just want to point that out. I want to keep WWE honest here.
WWE was like, we're gonna take the wrong page out of their book.
Yeah. They were like, hey, you guys love baseless matches, right? Here's some baseless matches. And people are like, no. Anyway, we have some baseless matches for NXT.
Yeah, AEW was like, we're going to have matches that aren't going to make sense when you first see them, but they're going to be really fucking cool. And everybody was like, all right, weird, but okay. Yeah. And then WWE was just like, we're going to have matches. Are they going to make sense? No. Are they going to be good? Maybe.
Yeah, WWE just, they attempt to show like they're in touch with what's going on. And NXT is always one that they've run head to head with AEW. So I'm very interested to see which one does better. I'm assuming it's going to be AEW All In.
Yeah, golly gee, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's my assumption. But we have 3 matches announced so far for Great American Bash. We will start off with the singles match for the NXT North American Women's Championship. Your reigning, defending North American Women's Champion, Sol Ruca, going up against Izzy Dame. Izzy Dame, not really one to normally get some shots. So good to see her actually getting some title opportunities.
Yeah, and she's kind of a powerhouse as well, taking on the high-flying Sol Ruca, so it should be at least entertaining.
Yeah.
And if not, Braun Breaker could spear somebody afterwards. So, that's okay.
It's true. Your Braun Breaker's just going to be waiting in the wings.
Izzy Dame person is this alleged woman I see allegedly making TikToks with this alleged person that kind of looks like Braun Breaker.
Allegedly.
And since the last time Mr. Jackal watched anything NXT, Izzy Dame was not in the takeover ladder match for this title. She was not.
No.
Okay. I'm going to say I like the Soul Snatcher here a little bit more than someone I don't know anything about. I'll take a Sol Ruca if Braun Breaker just maybe happens to allegedly show up and start barking at her, because that's kind of what his character is getting watered down to. Then, so be it.
Well, luckily, this is one of the matches where they've kind of had a storyline going in the background of NXT where, like, Sol Ruca and Zarya have been trying to, like, basically keep Tatum Paxley safe and happy since, her whole group got fucking taken away. And now, like, Izzy Dame is trying to be her friend. So I'm sure Tatum Paxley is going to end up getting involved in this match somehow.
Well, yeah, I think it was last week, Tatum Paxley, because Izzy Dame is in Sean Spears' group.
Yes, and I can't remember the name of it right now.
The something edgy. The Calling.
Yeah, the Calling.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Oh, good game.
Yeah, so I can almost assume that this is going to be Tatum Paxley in the match here.
Yeah.
That being said, though, Sol Ruca has had this North American Championship for how long?
Couple months.
Yeah, she's had
Oh,
it for
good.
a while, and they've usually done pretty
Mania
quick
weekend.
changes with the belt, so I wouldn't be surprised if she loses it, but I mean, Izzy Dame holding it, I don't know what they're going to do with her if they give it to her.
I would say that they would probably have her, I don't know, defend the belt, but looking at their track record with women on the main roster, I can't even say that for certain either.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
I will say-
Sol Ruka won
Oh, go ahead.
at Stand and Deliver. So back in April. So it could be time for this, women's mid card title to jump hands a little.
That's possible. But, I mean, again, should be a good match because Izzy Dame was the one, like, when they first started doing the partnership again with TNA, she was, like, one of the first people they sent over, and she put on
Oh yeah.
an absolute banger of a match with Jordan Grace. So, again,
Mm-hmm.
it'll at least be fun whichever way it goes. It'll probably be a goofy little ending, but it'll be a fun ride along the way.
Yeah, it'll be some run in. It'll, be some weird, creepy shit. Tatum Paxton coming out from under the ring. It'll be fun to watch. And you mentioned Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace is also on this card. She's in a tag team match. Jordan Grace and a new name, but a familiar face, Blake Monroe, formerly known as Mariah May, going up against the team of Fatal Influence, JC Jane and Fallon Henley. And Jasmine Nix is also in that stable, but I guess she's just hanging out on the outside. So I'm sure that'll go well. 2v3 always works out.
Yeah, always a clean match when that happens.
This kind of feels like NXT passing the it girl a little bit here, because Jordan Grace was, the hot hire when she came in. They didn't really do a lot with her, and now it's kind of like the spotlight's on Mariah May. So it kind of feels a little bit like hey, here you go, look at me type thing for Blake Monroe. The Jordan Grace should have a lot more opportunities for sure. And it's going to be great that she's going to get the win, because, it's fucking Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe, who I'm pretty sure this is her, actual in-ring debut for NXT.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's no way in hell either of them aren't losing this. It's just a shame that Jordan Grace becomes a side character.
I knew as soon as they brought Julie and Stephanie in that Jordan Grace was going to just become, fun wrestler to watch, number 27.
She hasn't done anything in NXT.
No, they literally have just used her here, big beefy girl, go kill not beefy girls now. And that's been pretty much it. But again, they brought her in and then immediately went, oh, here's also Julia and Stephanie. So just bringing in Blake Monroe after that is just kind of icing on the cake for that one.
Yeah, and part of me wonders, Jordan Grace, obviously her being there, she has a lot of experience. So I'm sure in the backstage of NXT, I'm sure she's getting a lot of opportunities to step up. And I wonder if that's the role that she's in. But if you're going to go to WWE and go straight to coach, what does that say about your wrestling career? No main roster run at all, no NXT championships. She hasn't done any. She's had her 2 Rumble appearances. But other than that, she hasn't really done anything of note in WWE.
Not yet.
I certainly think that it's very, very much a missed opportunity. And to be honest, it kind of to me has sort of felt like very AEW-esque almost, where they went, man,
yeah,
there's nothing on the main roster. We need people to come in and fill this. And 18 different people all went out and hired the person that they wanted to hire without talking to each other about it, and they all did it at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
So
they all hired the hottest new free agent.
Right. And it's going to feel a little bloated at the moment. And since the violent lesbian hasn't had any chances to do violent lesbian things, since you did say this is going to be her first match after jumping ship, no?
Yes, correct. Yeah, this is her in-ring debut. Yep.
It's kind of writing on the wall that this is going to easily be Ms. Blake Monroe. Really could have picked any sort of different name, because I keep wanting to say Blake Murphy or Buddy Murphy. Very similar. So
hey, also, be careful when you Google Blake Monroe. That's a porn star.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
I think I saw she made a Twitter post about how, like, that's her niece's name or something.
It's her niece's name in Marilyn Monroe, but it's also the name of a porn star.
It's so wholesome. I get it, but it takes one
Gunther
Google
was named
search.
after a Nazi.
Indeed, he was. Indeed, he fucking. So WWE is.
Well, not everything has to be wholesome.
not that. In fact, not wholesome. WWE
No.
known to make mistakes as well. Will they fix this mistake? Probably not.
Oh no, she'll be Blake Monroe even when she goes back to AEW. Like,
well,
there's gonna be value in that name now.
Will she be a violent
she's
lesbian?
Going back to AEW at some. Huh?
Oh no, I don't know. I'm just saying shit. I'm just saying no matter where she goes, she'll be Blake Monroe to the end of time.
Yeah, she's kind of right up there for WWE's alley, right? Australian, hot,
blonde,
very lesbian,
tits,
overtones and
ass.
undertones.
Sold.
Yeah, I mean, she should do well in WWE.
So to circle it back to wrestling, give me the violent lesbian, please. I'll take her for the pick.
Well, that was, Fatal Influence. JC Jane is now the women's champion after a surprising win over Stephanie McCool because apparently the main roster needed her immediately. And
that mid-card title.
Done goddamn nothing. JC Jane is now just the losing person in a tag team match.
Yep.
Make that make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that this would be Jordan Grace being the workhorse of the team, Blake Monroe getting the hot tag at the end, getting the pin, probably over JC Jane, and then that sets up Blake Monroe versus JC Jane, and JC Jane is going to lose it and be a nothing burger transitional champion.
Correct.
That's the state of the NXT Women's Championship right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is even worse because they still have a pretty stacked roster.
Oh yeah, no, the NXT Women's Division is one of the best women's divisions in all of pro wrestling, but their singles championship is relegated to jobbing out for the fucking new guy. Like, it's crazy how they're booking it. The fact that their women's champion is in a tag team match and not in a singles championship. If you wanted to, they could have already set up JC Jane versus Blake Monroe. They could have done it for this. Could have cut right to the chase. Nobody would have questioned. They would have been like, well, yeah, of course she gets a match. She's just showing up. Of course she's the one. Yeah, of course. Like, they'll sign a contract or whatever, and then it doesn't matter who was next in line. So they totally could have totally could have just cut to the chase here. But instead, they've decided to waste our time. So we all know how this match is going to go. And now the match that I assume is going to be their main event.
Yes.
Which means that this match will be running against the Texas Death Match that we will talk about. Keep that in mind, that this is most likely the NXT Great American Bash main event. So keep that in mind, that this is NXT. This is them trying to run this match specifically against Texas Death. A singles match for the NXT Championship. Obafemi versus Yoshiki Inamura, who is Josh Briggs' friend from Japan.
He is really fun to watch. It's gonna be a nice, hard hitting match. But when I saw this, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, but that's not. Again, we're talking about how stacked the NXT Women's Division is. This match right here does not run against a Texas Death Match. No way in hell.
This is Yoshi Tatsu. What the fuck?
Exactly. This is so. Josh Briggs went to some Japanese indie. It wasn't New Japan. I think it was All Japan.
No, it was Noah.
Oh, it was Noah. So he went to Noah, and this was basically his tag partner in Noah. And so when Josh Briggs came back to NXT, his partner came with him, and he had
disclosure.
He has been
they are a
good
great
in NXT.
Fucking tag team.
Yes,
they are fun to watch.
Yes, but does he beat Obafemi for the NXT Men's Championship?
I'm telling you right now, if he does beat Obafemi, I will legitimately poop my pants.
If Yoshi Tatsu also beats Obafemi, I too also will shit in Mike's pants.
God,
there
I'm
is
bigger pants.
There is a better chance of Goldberg beating Gunther than there
If
is
that happens, I'm
of
gonna kill myself.
Yoshiki Inamura beating Obafemi. Here's my thought. Here's my thought is that WWE went, okay, what's the main event of All In? Oh, it's a death match. Okay, let's have a literal murder as our main event. That's all I can assume.
I think it's going to be a lot more back and forth than you think.
I listen. I don't feel good about
tough.
Yoshiki's chances.
Oh no, I don't think he's going to win, but I think it's going to be one of those hard-hitting matches where Obafemi can barely stand up afterwards, and I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden they have either Dark State because they're randomly still fucking attacking people, or a random new person shows up. But like Dark State's just been randomly wandering into TNA and taking people out, so who fucking knows now?
Yeah, unfortunately, no matter what happens for them, I won't be watching this main event. Again, that's going to be running against the Texas Death Match. So I'm going to be watching that instead. Speaking of, because that's going to be happening at All In Texas over at Globe Life Field. So also at 3 p.m.
Oh, you want to just go in time order? I wanted to get the bad pay-per-views out of the way.
Oh yeah, I was gonna go in time, but
yeah, that works too. We can do that.
Because this one would be on 3 hours after this podcast comes out.
Yes. So NXT Great American Bash and AEW All In both start at 3 p.m. on Saturday.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They're like that. The main events are probably going to like directly match up with the timing. But All In is a much better show than NXT Great American Bash. So by all means, watch this instead, because the first match for AEW All In, the largest AEW show in the continental United States of all time, opening the show, getting the shit right out of the way in the beginning. Timeless Toni Storm, your AEW Women's Champion, going up against the savior herself, Mercedes Moné, Sasha Christ. Is it going to be 7 belts Sasha, or is it going to be Timeless Toni Storm walking away on top?
I have never been more nervous for Timeless Toni Storm because there is a real chance that Tony Khan's like, Sasha Christ is the only one that's hot right now. Fucking book it, cowards. And we're going to have Sasha 7 belts.
Now, Sasha has not been defeated yet in AEW.
No.
She is on a Goldberg-esque run. So I'm wondering who in AEW could defeat that streak. And I feel like legitimately the only women, or the only woman on that roster that kind of has that power is Timeless Toni Storm, because she is your current champion. Now,
God, I hope so.
I believe that a women's world championship is definitely in Mercedes Moné's future. And with Mariah May being out of the picture, this is how you set up quite a few more Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné's. Guaranteed.
This, to me, I know I said it on a prior podcast. This, to me, is about as close as you can get to a literal one-to-one kaiju battle, the RIP kaiju big battle, but this is Godzilla versus King Kong. This is
Jacob
literally well, we'll save that once the fucking pick'ems are done. Jesus. This is unstoppable force versus immovable object type shit. In a sense of not that I want to see these two go head to head. It's legitimately just these two characters don't fucking lose, so something's going to have to give. I have firmly been in the corner of Timeless Toni Storm. I said she carried AEW through the entirety of 2024. Everybody agreed. Oh, yeah. I still kind of never have really ever been on the Sasha Christ bandwagon. Mercedes money, whatever you feel like calling her, whether it's her actual wrestling that's turning me away, her fan base that's turning me away. the fact that she dumped and divorced her like childhood sweetheart husband to get with some fucking bodybuilder or whatever it may be, allegedly. Just gonna throw that in there.
She's with the Beast Mortos now.
Yeah.
Of course. Sorry, my bad.
I'm sorry. Hold on. The lawyer Beast Mortos now.
There it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The Beast Mortos Esquire.
Yeah.
I do feel like finally something has to give at the big Yeehaw Boy Howdy Texas show. And I do think it is going to be Mercedes money going down to the hands of timeless Tony Storm, because she's gonna rip her tits off.
Sounds like we're all in agreement then.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. But again, so far 6 companies have went, hey, Mercedes, we want you to hold our belt and just wander around with it. Please do. Don't wrestle for us. Just take our belt, leave. Because at the end of the day, that's the other part. It's not like she's just going in going, I'm taking this. Like, a booker and an owner had to decide, please take this belt and then go fuck off to America.
Remember,
like 6 companies fucking thought that idea.
Remember when AEW introduced all these championships and we on this podcast said that championship belts were just going to become props at some point? Yep. That's what it feels like with Mercedes Moné. And even to, not to toot our own horn, but 2 of those titles that AEW have introduced are being unified at All In. So that is a match, a winner takes all match to unify the AEW Continental Championship and the AEW International Championship. They will be unified into the AEW Unified Championship because they're creative with their naming. So Kazuchika Okada is your current Continental Champion, and Kenny Omega is your International Champion. So, I mean, this is going to be a great match no matter what happens, because Okada versus Omega, sign me up. And it may very well be Kenny Omega's last match, depending on how he, if he decides to implode or not while he's in the ring.
I hope not. That wouldn't make the show too great.
Well, I can guarantee you there's going to be a lot of fake blood, because Okada is now with the Don Callis family, and we saw a couple weeks ago that they dropped Kenny Omega onto a steel chair and had him cough up blood. And it was definitely fake blood, because that was a lot. This match is going to be uncomfortable to watch. But goddamn, it's going to be... I like that we're still getting Okada versus Omega in 2025. And I like that it's still interesting. Okada being...
this real quick.
Yeah.
For the people that are like, well, they're not going to perform as well. No shit. Their first match together was like, what, 10, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
Of course it's not going to be the same match. Both of them are vastly different people now. And enjoy it for what it is. 2 of the best that have ever been just going at it one more time. Like we just had with Cena and Punk.
Yeah, and even to that point, Okada is aligned with the Don Callis family. So it's like anything, any youth that they need, they have. They have. It's not just Okada versus Omega anymore. It's continued to evolve, and it's continued to keep it interesting. And quite honestly, I'll kind of open up the pick'ems here for this one. I'll make the first call here. Seeing the state of Kenny Omega, where he has a very real fight with diverticulitis, and it has almost taken him out of wrestling several times now. I feel like this is AEW's way to kind of transition Kenny out of the ring, still keep him around, right? He's still an EVP. He's still an incredible wrestler. I'm sure he'll be, kind of like a part-time role, kind of like how Bryan Danielson is kind of like a part-timer now.
We got Kyle Danielson. He gave a running knee to Max Caster, so...
Yeah, so I'm sure there will be plenty of Kenny Omega around still, but I feel like when you look at the state of one versus the state of the other, and factor in the Don Callis family, that's a really easy way to give Okada a win. So I feel like Okada is going to be the unified champion.
But you are forgetting about one person in Kenny Omega's corner. One
Who's
half
that?
of the Golden Lovers.
It's true.
Ibushi's back.
It's true. Ibushi is back. But
and
does
I think
Ibushi outnumber the entire Don Callis family?
As far as Tony Khan is concerned, probably, yeah. But I also think that, and I don't know which way they're going to go with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go towards having also Ibushi v Omega one more time. So Omega wins the titles, Ibushi, congratulates him, but then tells him he's coming for him.
That maybe. See, my thought would be Okada versus Ibushi.
Yeah, well, and that's I don't know which way they're gonna go.
Yeah, I think Ibushi is definitely the next step, no matter where they're going, whether it's Okada or Omega. It's just, again, I'm just looking at the state of Kenny, and I'm like, is he gonna be able to like do another match? Like, how? I don't know how good he is.
Guess we'll find out.
I wanna give credit where credit is due to Tony, for starters, because I'm so glad that he had Kenny and Okada in the same company for at least over, I want to say over a year. Definitely could be wrong, more than likely wrong, but at least he had them in the same company for an extended period of time and didn't blow this match as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, he waited for this.
It's nice seeing a tiny bit of restraint going, let's at least do this when the moment's right, not soon as possible. I need to boost some sales real quick. Dwayne. It's in my throat somewhere. I think we all kind of agreed that Kenny is a ticking time bomb at this point, and whether the bomb's going to go off and he's going to just quietly retire or self-implode. Hopefully it's the first one, not the latter. Only time will tell, and I think only his body knows how long he has left. I just hope that this one isn't the final goodbye match. I'm kind of assuming that it isn't going to be, but I do think Kenny is the type of guy to make it make sense to where, yeah, as cool as it would be for me to win this, I think it does make a little more sense for Okada to win, since you don't got much tread left on his tires as well. It's certainly a significant more amount of tread than mine. So I think Okada is the right choice here. And again, this take is basically saying grass is green. This will be match of the weekend for sure.
That's possible. But there are a lot of great fucking matches on that card.
And it's about fucking time that we can finally say that about an AEW show, huh? It's about time.
And there's plenty of matches to be excited about, because there's plenty of matches with unknowns. There are 2 casino gauntlet matches here, one men's, one women's, both going for future world championship shots of their respective divisions. Now, we do know some with the casino gauntlet matches. I mean, obviously it's up to 21 participants. However, the gauntlet matches can end at any time because it's the first pinfall that wins it. For the men's match, we know 3 of the participants so far. The men's match, we know it will be Mark Briscoe and MJF starting out the match. And then Mystico is also announced. We don't know when he's coming in, but he's announced.
But we know he's going straight for MJF.
He's going straight for MJF, and I'm sure MJF will have a mask with him, and I'm sure he's going to try to hit the. I just hope they bring out the springboard so that way he can hit the Sin Cara spot over the rope, like right over the rope, hit a code red, do some crazy shit. Listen, gauntlet matches are always fun, so we don't exactly know everyone that's going to be involved, but it's
well. And
it's
there were a couple teases here and there, and if one of them happens, it'll be a nice little pop, but nothing will come of it. But it would be one of those like, hey,
who
cool
to tease
type moments.
Who you got? What's the gossip?
Well, there was an interview with CVV, and it was one half of Beer Money, James Storm.
Yeah. Yo, you think he comes down in the beer buggy or whatever it was?
I know, but they were talking. He's like, yeah, man, you never know. Never know what's going to happen in wrestling. There's a couple gauntlet matches this weekend. You never know.
God, I would love that. I'd love that. That'd be great. If we get beer money in 2025, I'm going to have beer in my fridge.
Well,
just in case.
Bobby Roode still planted his ass right in the back of WWE, but You know,
but what other gimmick does James Storm have? He's just, he's the beer money. It's fine.
Very true.
I mean, shit, Jesus Christ. James Storm is one parking lot taco brawl away from being a more buff Fire Guy Kev. Just saying. I love him, but Jesus.
Shout out Fire Guy Golf.
Sir, it's Golf Guy Kev.
There it is.
That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to be Golf Guy Kev, but he didn't even Anyway,
Okay.
speaking of more buff Kevs, the only entrant that we know in the women's casino gauntlet match, Chris Statlander. She's number one. She's coming out first. She is buff, more buff than FGG, I guess he is.
Yeah.
But but yeah, she's the only one announced, so I assume Chris Statlander. She's my pick.
Yeah, with the BR ones like this one, it's kind of well, I shouldn't say kind of. It is practically impossible to sort of make any sort of pick, especially when you don't know 90% of the people that are going to be in the match, or in the women's case, 99% of the people that are going to be in the match.
Yeah.
So you know what? For Gits and Shigs, for the women, I say Athena because I love her to death. She's amazing and
forever champ.
Still to this very exact moment, probably the most underutilized woman on that roster at the moment. And for the men, I'm gonna say
I'm gonna rootin' tootin'. Sorry, that's how you sounded to me.
give me Danhausen.
Oh.
Hey, Danhausen might be WWE bound, apparently.
Well, never mind.
There's interest in him once his contract is up.
Oh,
and so maybe AEW puts him in this casino gauntlet match to keep him around because they have not been giving him any opportunities.
And because that's the other part is the wild pairing they've decided. Him and fucking Private Party. Like, what?
Shots. No, they don't
Like,
do that
Private
anymore.
Party can't do half of what Private Party currently does in WWE. Number one. Number two, what are they going to have him do? Just lose?
I mean, yeah, that's probably their future.
I mean, to a certain degree, isn't Private Party just a different shade of color from the Street Profits? Just saying.
The same color.
Yeah, well, in that regards, Mike.
Okay, moving on. Hey, speaking of tag teams in AEW, there is a tag team match on this card. The team of Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay going up against the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. There's an interesting stipulation on this match. If Ospreay and Strickland lose, they both cannot challenge for the AEW World Championship for 1 year. And if the Young Bucks lose, they will be stripped of their executive vice president titles.
Double gasp.
Yeah, I mean, that is an interesting stipulation because your two top men stars that AEW cannot function without would not be able to challenge for the main world championship for 1 year. And on the other hand, your executive vice presidents no longer get to be, listen, I know it's a work, but they no longer get to be executive vice presidents. So you have an entire power shift. Listen, again, I know it's a work, so I know that obviously it's going to be the Young Bucks eating the loss here. And I hope that we get a Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay like Stone Cold CEO run, you know? Like I wanted to see them like backstage making calls with Tony Khan. Like I want to see executive Will Ospreay. I want to see him in a suit.
Only if we get Will Ospreay eating a donut. I don't know why, but he has to eat a donut while he does it.
What? Why?
Because I see him coming up to a cracked out Tony Khan with a mouthful of donut going, "Oi, listen, bro, this is a match we should have on tonight, yeah?" And then Tony Khan would be like, "I love it, book it."
Oh my God, I didn't realize Will Ospreay was here in the studio with us. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show.
Oh, mate, yeah, I fucking love me some donuts, bruv. I fucking love it, I do. I want to get all that shit on my fucking face. Give me the powder, give me the chocolate, the cream
Boy, I
filled.
love Assassin's Creed.
I'll be the best fucking boss you guys have ever
Well, we
fucking
can't say
seen.
Cinnabon because they're still in a committed relationship with Konosuke Takeshita or whatever.
I feel like one of the last things that I remember from the Young Bucks is actually them returning, and in their said return, one of my talking points I did feel, and I still believe in, it still kind of felt a little racially motivated the way they sort of jumped Swerve Strickland in his title match against Jon Moxley. So I'm going to assume here that Swerve probably gets his get back. And I would love to see these two gentlemen square off again with the winner that I'm going to think is going to win the title match later on this evening.
That
I
would be nice. Yeah.
I still have to say, when Matt and Nick were gone, I didn't miss them anymore. I don't know if that's just because I mean, number one, their characters now are fucking atrocious. Whoever thought they could do that was wrong. But number two, when you're, and it kind of goes the same for people in every company. I'm not just ragging on them for it, but when your matches are all the exact same for the last 12 years, like, cool, take an extended break, please. I don't want to see it all the time. I want you to come back and have it feel nostalgic. Right now, it's just like, oh, it's still just Matt and Nick doing Matt and Nick things, but this time they're also kind of cowards and cheat. Okay.
Yeah, they kind of just picked up exactly where they left off. It was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, they did. There was no story. There was nothing. It was just, okay, part two. And I would be more than happy to see Swerve and Ospreay win, and maybe we see Matt and Nick not do Matt and Nick stuff for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's all a work, but, you know, losing the executive vice president titles, that's effectively writing them off TV, I'm assuming.
Or they would have to go around and maybe Ospreay and Swerve make them do a bunch of actual matches.
Yeah, maybe they just go back to being actual wrestlers. Like every week they get booked. No, like that could be, you know, that legitimately, I think that would be more interesting than what they're doing right now, is like where they're actually being forced to like go back to wrestling every week. And you know, I think it's pretty obvious, just, you know, the stakes of one versus the stakes of another. I think we know where that match is going. And, you know, you mentioned that them beating Swerve Strickland was racially motivated. And speaking of racially motivated booking, we have another tag team match here, a three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Hurt Syndicate, people. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, going up against a team that I didn't even know how to name, but I actually like this name. They're called Jet Speed. It's Kevin Knight, who's a young person he recently debuted on Collision. He's got kind of like a Marty McFly gimmick going.
For context, they call him basically the Black Osprey.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really, really good. And he is on this team. He's the Jet.
Will Ospreay called him that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. Will Ospreay brought him into AEW. Yeah. He's a Will Ospreay guy. So he's the Jet, and the Speed is Speedball Mike Bailey. And then they are going up against the Patriarchy, which is Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. The Hurt Syndicate, currently your AEW World Tag Team Champions. So they're the ones looking to defend here. And the Hurt Syndicate has been on top recently because they have recruited MJF. MJF has been aligned with MVP, and
we rock with Mark, and Mark rocks with us.
Yup. MJF has the MVP bodysuit on. Is great.
He does.
I love everything that they're doing with the Hurt Syndicate. Yeah.
Before you do a pick'em, over under on if Christian Cage takes a German suplex bump or not.
Just a single. Oh, you mean like Bobby Lashley suplexing him?
No, like Shelton, because you know Shelton Benjamin's kind of taken on the Brock Lesnar role of just German suplexing the fuck out of people.
Yeah, he's 2002 Brock Lesnar.
I'm assuming everybody catches a fade from Shelton in this at some point and gets a German suplex or 87.
Yeah.
Does Christian Cage?
I'd assume so. He's in the match. Why wouldn't he?
Not because he's the oldest one there.
He's in the match.
Yeah, but I mean, you got Nick Wayne there to take all those bumps for him. That's what I'm
Nick
wondering.
Wayne's gonna get his ass beat. Yeah, this is gonna.
His dad's dead too.
Well, no, his dad's his tag team partner. His dad is Christian Cage.
I thought he was his daddy. My bad.
No. That's what
he's,
Mama Wayne calls Christian Cage.
Yeah.
Sorry. I often get those two confused.
Christian
That
Cage and
explains
Mama
so
Wayne.
much.
Uh-huh. I can't. The Christian's really been having some effeminate features as of late. It's really bringing out his eyes. I get lost in them. I get distracted. That's my bad.
Oh,
That's
Hey,
my bad.
that's why he wears the shirt so you don't get lost in his abs.
Yeah, that
that too.
that turtleneck accentuates his waistline.
It's all that planking, because this episode is not brought to you by the plank board
it's
or
not.
whatever the hell it
Hey,
is.
do you want to sponsor us though, Plank people, please?
Yeah, come on, Christian, do it. Then we'll talk
Christian,
about your abs
sponsor
even
us.
more. Please.
Yeah, we can talk about Christian's
Please?
abs for an hour. I'll do it if they pay us.
We'll
But,
fill time.
But yeah, the Hurt Syndicate has been on top. They've been doing really, really, really good work here. Like I said, Nick Wayne is gonna get his ass beat. Shelton Benjamin's on that 2002 Brock Lesnar shit. So it's going to be unfortunate for Nick Wayne, but he's going to get his ass whooped. And Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey are just there to do some flippy shit so that way Bobby Lashley can catch him. So there you go.
So you're thinking Hurt Syndicate?
I'm thinking Hurt Syndicate by a fucking mile.
That's what I want, but I don't know if that's what's going to happen. Because Christian finds a sneaky way to just randomly get belts. And I don't think they give it to Speedball and Kevin Knight, even though that'd be a fun-ass team to watch.
They're definitely the upset here, yeah.
I have a feeling that all of a sudden we're going to see Christian Cage with another belt around his waist. Then we're going to have two-belt Nick.
No, it's better than two dick Nick, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, he hangs out at the food court.
Oh, Jesus. I told you to stop talking to him, Mike. He makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, he tries to stir drinks with him.
Ew. Oh, he's like a shark. He's like an orca. Ew. I'm going to go with Speedball Mike Bailey and Black Will Ospreay simply for the fact of I want to see them succeed, even though I just pretty much learned that they exist right now at this very moment. And I think that'll be a very fun tag team feud to carry us through the rest of the summer and maybe into the fall.
Love that energy.
Hell yeah,
I don't know who these people are, but I want them.
I want them. I need them.
It's
Let's
fair.
go.
Speedball and Kevin Knight put on a hell of a match.
Yeah, they're a very, very, very good team. It's kind of a perfect example of like AEW is so fucking stacked that you just have shit that works like this.
We have to put these two as a tag team because we don't have
Yeah.
enough space to use them as singles competitors right now.
Yeah, and I think Kevin Knight, I don't know how recently he's debuted in wrestling, but I know he's like
He has the
newer
personality of a Rock
to,
so far.
Yeah, but he's also
Not The
newer
Rock,
to
Rock.
Collision, and that makes me
Yes.
think that he's just kind of new to TV wrestling in general. He's been
in TNA for a while, and then before they, sold their soul to WWE, he was snatched up by AEW.
Yeah, I'm hoping that him being paired with Mike Bailey, I mean, Mike Bailey is someone who has a ton of personality, someone who has a lot of charisma, maybe pull something out of Kevin Knight here. So, I mean, it's definitely a team that could work, but I think they're definitely the upset in this match.
Yes. Yep.
But we'll have a pretty even back and forth match here for the AEW TNT Championship, because your TNT champion, Chugs Adam Cole, baby, is going to be defending against his friend, Kyle Fletcher.
Are they friends?
Well, they're friends in real life.
Well, yeah, but I mean, not in...
No. The proto star Kyle Fletcher is friends with nobody. But
I also don't know if you saw or not, but Fletcher did have his Fletchlight section at Collision and Dynamite.
Gross.
That's what he calls his people. That's what he calls his people.
Fletchlights.
Disgusting.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Did
Are you not a Fletchlight?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Did the used Fletchlight, was he the winner of the Kyle Mania Running Wild match, or
Yeah, he was the winner
okay.
of the Battle of the Kyles.
Yeah, and then last week on Collision they had Daniel Garcia versus Kyle Fletcher for the.
Yep.
I am very impressed with Adam Cole simply due to the fact that his body has held up for more than I think a month straight at this point.
Yeah, his ankle is still in one piece.
Looking at his track record as of late, a month is a lot more than I could ever ask for at this point, so I'll take what I can get. I think I like Adam Cole here still, baby, because that Fletchlight name section made me kind of gag a little, and I didn't enjoy that.
Liar. I think Kyle Fletcher takes it. I think he's going to brainbuster the shit out of Adam Cole, and he's going to finally get the belt he deserves.
I don't like the words busting and Fletchlight in the same breath. I'm going to be honest with you.
Him and all of his Fletchlights are going to bust all over Adam.
I want to, you talk about Adam Cole, suffering to stay in one piece for more than a month. I feel like I'm one of the only people that just don't give a fuck about Adam Cole. I feel like when he was doing the stuff with MJF, like it was very entertaining and it was something that I wanted to watch a lot. I feel like even his NXT stuff when he was in Black and Gold, very entertaining, very charismatic, stuff that I wanted to see. But now, he's still doing his Undisputed gimmick, but they had to change the name. It's called Paragon now, but he's still saying that it's Undisputed. Exactly. It sucks because he's trying to just redo his old shit instead of doing something new. He's trying to fall back on what's worked before, but it's old. Adam Cole, the whole boom and all that bullshit that was fun in NXT because you got to do it every week. You got to be involved in it. When he's gone every other month, who cares? It's great that he's the champion. It's great that he has that opportunity. It's great that he gets to give, matches. He gets to have matches against people like Kyle Fletcher. It's not like it's going to be a bad match, but it's just like,
hell no.
Why should I care?
I think this will be the match that kind of makes people care again if his body holds up, and that's just it. Is I don't know if it was just a freak accident or if his body is getting to the point where maybe it's time for him to start slowing down a little. Maybe it's time for him to take on more of a managerial role. I don't know, but it does seem like if he can hold together and put on a classic match, because this could be one of those matches where you're like, that was close to match of the night, if they both perform at their peak. But I think that'll kind of dictate how people feel about Adam Cole moving forward. Whether like, hell yeah, I'm still going to say baby, or if they're going to be like, hey, you know what, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I'm definitely curious about the subject. I'm curious about what other people think too. I may make that a post through the social media TikTok over the course of the coming days, because I think that is definitely a topic that'll get people talking, because son of a bitch, I actually think a couple people might agree with you, because as far as I go, at least, I know he's definitely just sort of coasting on what he's done for me in the past, and it's nowhere near a what have you done for me recently conversation that I'm having, says the person who's not actively watching AEW.
I'd be willing to bet that most of the Adam Cole fans are more of a fan of his Twitch streams than they are of his wrestling.
Damn.
Depending on where they found him. I mean, again, like, he did have a whole career before WWE, and then he got to, I was really expecting him to be kind of like an older version of Seth Rollins, if that makes sense, where he was basically going to be the same person but older. I thought that's where his career was going, and then all of a sudden WWE was like, nope, we're going to completely fuck this up. Go ahead, go off to AEW and hang out with your girlfriend that you're not with anymore, and take your boys eventually. And it sucked, because he was on probably one of the best runs in NXT history, and then they just kind of said fuck it. So I think this is one of those matches. Yeah, he has a belt right now. Does it matter? It hasn't seemed like it, but this will kind of be the choice where I think, however this match ends, even if he loses, if he puts on a hell of a match, I think people will be like, cool, I still want to watch. But if he doesn't, and it's just kind of meh, I think people will be like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah,
Is he not with Britt Baker anymore?
no.
Boy,
They broke up.
And I don't even think
so
Britt
ago?
Baker's being booked by AEW anymore. I think they're just letting her
no,
sit on
she
the
pretty
couch
much-
and collect her contract.
Yeah, she pretty much fucked herself over on that one. There's a lot of apparently ill will towards her.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Damn.
alleged things against her.
Allegedly.
Being difficult to work with, like that.
Yeah, she's one of those people. And I mean, again, to be fair, she did hold it down for a while in AEW, and then they just kind of went, well, do we need you though? We're just gonna kind of put you at the back.
Yeah, I think most of Britt Baker's problem is being spiteful against AEW, but at the same time, can you really blame her? Like,
No.
I mean, again, Tony Khan books with a certain head, and it's not the one on his neck.
Very true.
Speaking of heads will roll in this match because the main event of All In Texas, which is normally a stadium stampede, in this case, not a stadium stampede. It is a Texas death match. Your AEW World Champion, the man who has kept that championship hostage in a briefcase for way too long, accompanied by the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, going up against some cowboy shit in the arsonist himself, Hangman Adam Page, who has recently had a moral revelation of sorts. Hangman, was associated with the Elite. He told the Young Bucks to go fuck themselves. And he told, he basically told him, like, stop going after Swerve, leave him alone. Like, Hangman is good guy cowboy shit again. He is the pivotal baby face right now to go up against Jon Moxley's killer heel. In my opinion, this is going to be a bloody match, knowing how Hangman has normally gone against Texas death matches. But I mean, this is AEW's moment to take that title off of Jon Moxley, legitimately. And they've been telling almost like kind of like Hangman building and almost like an Avengers type team of like all of the AEW stars, and a lot of them are involved earlier in this card. Like they've had Chris Statlander involved because of Wheeler Yuta. They've had Swerve Strickland involved because of the Elite. They've had Will Ospreay involved because of Jon Moxley. So they've had a lot of other people involved, a lot of other stars that are involved earlier in this card. I really don't think that's going to matter because Hangman is a god in Texas death matches. I mean, he's the cowboy. This is his match. This is, he's not a cowboy from Texas, but he's the cowboy at the Yeehaw pay-per-view. Like, it's gonna be some crazy shit that goes down during this match, and Jon Moxley is a absolutely disgusting motherfucker. Don't eat a snack during this match because you'll throw up. But
you might.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a bloody war, and somehow I think Hangman is gonna come out on top, just barely. But enough where he'll be able to have his hand raised with that AEW championship.
Boy, oh boy, I hope so. Because we need... Go ahead.
I definitely am excited for this one. I know there's a lot of stakes here. I know stuff has been set up. I also enjoy the fact that they gave the world title match to the cowboy character at the big Yeehaw Cowboy Texas show. I think it makes sense. I think it works. I think it tracks. If All In is their Wembley show, I can see this match taking place at a Wembley-style stadium, which it is, and I think this no opportunity better than this one right here to take that title off of Jon Moxley, albeit through the work of Hangman Adam Page or the work of his Avengers. Whatever you see fit definitely works best. I just know that everything you guys have been saying. The Death Rider story is tired. It's played out. It's boring. It's gone flat. It's produced the worst piece of wrestling merch in the history of forever. A literal plain white Hanes T-shirt.
No, no. The worst piece.
I'm not done. I'm not done yet. Hold on. Then we'll save the merch for a second. Now I feel bad. I want Hangman because I want Moxley's schedule cleared up so he can take on the best deathmatch wrestler in the world. I need to see Jon Moxley versus Tommy Vendetta 1-on-1 before I leave God's green earth. And if you take that title off of Moxley, his schedule clears up. Tommy Vendetta's schedule's cleared up right now too. I'm just saying, we can make some magic happen, TK. You call our people, we'll call your people, we'll set this up. It's the match that the internet wants to see.
And then we'll ultimately call Tommy's people because we're not Tommy's people.
No, we're not, nor do we claim to be. Okay, worst piece of merch. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say the worst piece of merch goes to Mark Briscoe. He had a shirt that came out this past week that says MJF as a tiny kosher pickle, and it's a picture of a clip art pickle. I'll see if I can find it I'll put it in the group chat for you, but it is fucking bad.
Oh, no.
I thought you said the worst piece. I mean, if you can just scribble out MJF and it just says, has a tiny kosher pickle, that's
hey, you leave my tiny kosher pickle alone. Can we? I just hope. Why? How come wrestling shirts can never be worn in public? That's what I want to know. You know, like why do they always have to look weird? Here you go. I put it in the group chat for you, so you can see what it looks like. Like, why do they always have to look like that shit? Why can't we get some actually nice wrestling T-shirts?
Because that used to happen, but that happened in the era of when you would get beat up for liking wrestling. So
yeah, and also Fanatics wasn't a thing either. That the merch doesn't need to be an episode, but I do think that'll be a killer YouTube video if we all talk about that over something.
I would love to go. I would love to do a YouTube video of like some of the worst wrestling merch. Because have you guys seen the AJ Styles cum shirt? Do you know about that?
Excuse me?
Oh yeah, it's a really bad shirt from TNA. I can see here. Let me.
I've had an AJ Styles shirt from TNA. Now I can't remember what it looked like.
Mike, are you?
But I thought it was a phenomenal one.
Did you
buy phenomenal one?
Did you buy AJ's cum?
I might have.
No, it wasn't. Now. It wasn't AJ's. It just looked like. Oh, here we go. I found it. It was The logo was it looks like it basically just looks like somebody cummed on the shirt and it says AJ. Here. I posted that in the group chat too. Oh
no, luckily I didn't have that one. That was towards the I think closer to the end of his run there before he went.
Yeah, it looks like cum. Ew. It's a bad shirt. AJ Styles unfortunately not included on Saturday night's main event. That he's not.
Real quick, because I can't remember if it's happening there or not. I remember the Blackpool Combat Club challenging whoever's holding the belts currently. Oh, the Ops to a trios title match. Is that happening on Dynamite Collision or is that happening
I have no fucking clue, show? Mike. I don't know. There's 11 events going on this week. I have no idea.
I just thought about that. I was like, wait, there's at least a couple other matches. And I'm assuming
that sounds like a Dynamite or Collision to me because the Trios Championships don't matter anymore. They made those belts so that way the House of Black could look cool, and then Aleister Black went back to WWE.
Well, yeah, true.
But after All In, after that bloody main event that again is running up against Oba Femi versus Yoshihiko Inamura. Later that night, we have Saturday night's main event, which will take place in Atlanta, Georgia, starting at 8 p.m. There are 3 matches currently announced because we are still recording this before Raw and SmackDown. So I'm sure they will announce more throughout the week. WWE generally does 5 matches, so probably 1 more announced during Raw, 1 more announced during SmackDown. But we'll talk about what is announced so far and what's going on. So there are 3 matches announced. All 3 of them so far are just singles men's matches. One is for a
Whoa.
championship, so we'll save that one for last because we are starting out with Randy Orton versus the returning Drew McIntyre, who just a few weeks ago was hit with a concerto from Damian Priest and now is back. He's fine.
Oh yeah, he walked it off.
Yeah. Drew McIntyre just fucking no-sold a chair, not even a chair shot, a concerto. That entire, you remember it was literally the last Saturday night's main event when the body was complaining about Damian Priest just walking out of the cage, just hitting the chair, hitting the concerto and walking out. And that's supposed to be the exclamation point on Drew McIntyre. That was writing Drew McIntyre off. And by the next Saturday night main event, he's involved in a nothing burger match against Randy Orton. Don't get me wrong. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton is going to be a great match. They're both
it was built up by him saying mean things about Randy and Randy RKOing him. So there's your storyline. Super in depth.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be a good match, but why is this even happening?
I just told you.
This isn't even running against AEW. Why is this pay-per-view running at all?
Because Goldberg.
He could be on a fucking SmackDown, all right? He needs to fucking check his shit. We'll talk about Goldberg. We'll talk about fucking Goldberg.
This because now spot is that Drew coming back off of his vacation, essentially. I won't even call it a fucking write-off.
Well, yeah, they went to Jinder Mahal's wedding, right?
Yeah, no, that was literally, I think, what the write-off was for, is so that way you could go to Jinder Mahal's wedding and reunite 3MB.
Slater, Do you make Drew lose as soon as he comes back? I also love that Damian won and has done nothing with it since beating Drew at all, actually.
Pointless. That entire cage match was pointless. Jesse the Body Ventura was right.
Or do you have Drew win and then have Orton continue his skid? Because Orton's been on a fucking losing streak ever since knocking off Joe Hendry at Mania. I know he won his qualifiers to make it to the Night of Champions finals, but he lost the important match.
Honestly, I would have Orton lose here because they were already kind of leaning towards, he even said, he's like, don't worry, when I face Cody, I won't be hesitant to pull the trigger like you were. That's when Randy RKO'd him. So, I mean, if we can get a Randy that keeps on going on the downslide, eventually leading to bad guy Randy again, I'll take it.
That is true. He did tease the punt against Cody a lot. He did get the exposed turnbuckle cover at Night of Champions, even though apparently Orton's weak spot is his rib to armpit area. Apparently,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about
Sorry, in the past, it's old.
He hit the metal and it hurt real bad.
Yeah, you get slammed into a turnbuckle, okay?
Oh, not feel good. No, thank you. I think, I think time's gonna come, and I think Drew is gonna use him as a pedestal to get himself back up to a good spot, so that inevitably he can lose to someone else on the roster. So I'm probably gonna say Drew here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you a little bit, Jackal. I agree with you in Drew. But I don't think that Drew goes on to lose to somebody else after this.
Hope not. I fucking hope not.
Because Drew McIntyre, when he made his return, called out, kind of, Cody Rhodes. He talked about the WWE Championship and how it's his ultimate goal to get back to that. And I mean, obviously, every superstar is going to say that because that's kind of the point, is that you want that championship. But Drew McIntyre has held that championship before during the COVID time. So it's kind of, he's kind of due for an actual run with that. And, we know that we're getting Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at SummerSlam. Kind of the next big one after that would be Survivor Series. So, I mean, we'll talk about SummerSlam when we get to SummerSlam. But do we get Cody winning at SummerSlam and then Drew McIntyre going on against Cody Rhodes at Survivor Series? Personally, that's what I would like to see. I would like Drew McIntyre to have a run with this, and I think if Cody can pick it up at SummerSlam, it makes sense that would be where they're going with this. Obviously, the big question mark is what happens with that championship because it's around the waist of John Cena. So I don't know, but I think Drew McIntyre definitely in this case, he's due a win, and I think it's not going to register as his triumphant return, but we're supposed to see this as Drew's triumphant return after getting his skull caved in.
No, just minorly tickled.
Well, that's why I'm saying it's not going to register as that to us, but I think that's what it's supposed to be. This is the hero's return of the story here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree that this is probably going to be a Drew McIntyre W. I just think when you have, they're already talking about Randy not pulling the trigger, Randy, going soft. Unless they're really going for no, Randy's going to be a good guy till the end of his career. I think that's where we start to get, the turn finally, the Viper coming back, the Apex Predator. And unless he pulls it out against Drew, which would be a wild play, I think they reserve it for somebody else where he just snaps and starts punting people again. Yeah, that's always fun.
I think they definitely tease, is Randy going to turn heel in this match? I think that's definitely going to be kind of his story, but I don't think he turns in this match. I think no. Realistically, I think WWE is waiting and hoping and praying that Kevin Owens can make a return so that way Randy Orton can turn heel on a returning Kevin Owens.
Could you imagine? Yeah, guys, my neck's fine. This is great. Randy comes out, punts him square in the fucking head.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Kevin Owens pronounced dead after Randy Orton literally kicks his just freshly fused spine clean in half.
Listen, we all saw that power bomb spot that happened on the ladder that fucked up Kevin Owens' neck, and he knew at that time that he had a neck injury and that was only going to make it worse, and he was the one that pitched that spot. You're going to tell me that a returning Kevin Owens looking to turn Randy Orton heel wouldn't go, yeah, fucking kick my head in. Yeah, let's do it. He's a sick motherfucker. So listen, realistically, does Kevin Owens come back anytime soon? I don't know. The last I heard, because he did an interview with Cody Rhodes, and he said that they're trying to have his neck heal as much as it can naturally, so that way the surgery isn't as intense. But apparently it's not going as quickly as anybody thought.
Did you hear when he said, he was like, yeah, I mean, when I was wrestling and on the road, I didn't have the pain, I didn't have the numbness. Yeah. He's like, now that I've stopped and it's caught up, he's like, it started happening. He's like, where my legs are going numb, my arms hurt. He's like, my neck's stiff. And so, I mean, I think it sounds like it's as bad as the other people that have had neck injuries. So, I mean, I don't think we see him for a while, unfortunately.
Yeah. I feel like that's what WWE is waiting for, but I don't think it's gonna happen while Randy Orton's on the roster. He's maybe only got it, until the end of this contract at most. So, if his back doesn't catch up with him sooner. So, I'm sure he'll turn and snap on somebody. It'll probably just be some random jobber and he'll just kick their fucking head in or something. Maybe it'll be Sami Zayn, Cody. Punk. Yeah, well, maybe Cena. Maybe he, punts Cena and then there's a cash in or something. Who knows?
Sami Zayn, but man, just a bunch of people shitting on Sami Zayn for no reason would be kind of ideal.
I mean, if you need a stand-in for Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn does kind of fill that role when he needs.
Very true.
But who knows?
According to the people on our TikTok, kind of in agreement with our standpoint that motherfucker ain't an underdog anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, of course he hasn't won the big one, but there's been plenty that never did.
Yeah.
That were still considered greats. So, I mean, he's definitely not an underdog. He's just Sami Zayn, a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And a good guy.
Speaking of people that never won the big one, there is another just random Nothing Burger singles match here. L.A. Knight, going up against the new Dangerous Alliance, the Naughty Naughty Boys of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and I'm forgetting another one. Paul Heyman's pretty dangerous, I guess, in his corner with his cell phone.
So.
Well, I mean, it's part of his nickname.
Paulie Dangerous.
Middle name.
Paulie Dangerous. Yeah. The E stands for extreme. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's unfortunate here that LA Knight is not in a championship opportunity. And it's also unfortunate that he's, against the new dangerous alliance. Like, there's no way in hell LA Knight is walking out of this alive. Like,
well, and I'm assuming that this leads to Sami Zayn coming out and Penta coming out and whoever the fuck else coming out, and that's when we're gonna probably either get. I don't think you waste a debut for Seth's group at Saturday Night Main Event, although who knows, maybe that's the only way you get your 12 views. But I think that's how you show, like, hey, there's a group forming to stop Seth's group, and that's how we get them being beaten back and maybe LA Knight standing tall, not winning the match, but standing tall afterwards at least.
In my mind, I feel like maybe this almost sets up War Games, because War Games is in San Diego, so it would make sense having like Penta on that team, having your kind of perpetual baby face, like You're
right. Rey Mysterio does come back and join the team.
Rey Mysterio has been advertised for for War Games. He's on the poster. He's gonna be there. I assume he's gonna be the guest host because I think I guess it depends on how many stem cells he's done. But but like Penta's also on that poster. He is advertised. Like there's I mean it's still early enough where do you really look too much into what's there? But I mean that's also something that's on the horizon. And if WWE is gonna give it 2 weeks of build like they gave this, then I guess that's the case. But if they start building it now, maybe you could get me caring about a War Games match by November.
It's an interesting one, this one, because I do like that LA Knight is kind of getting a marquee feud, because I know that's exactly how they're looking at it. Oh, it's not a title.
But it's for a big-time feud with Seth Rollins. It puts him in the main event.
Right, it's Seth Rollins. It gets big eyes on LA Knight.
Things come to those who wait or whatever.
Very, very curious. Not what happens with this match, what happens SummerSlam. Because I know that everybody's kind of rumbling, us included, on where does Roman fit into all this, because I still feel like also, and Jesus, I feel like Seth is pissing off 90% of the roster right now, because I feel like legitimately anyone could interfere in this match, from Penta all the way to Punk to Roman Reigns, and who else, what could happen here. And I think that's a good thing to have these question marks, because that actually makes me want to watch it and makes me not know for certain what's going to happen. So I know it's not going to be done by any stretch of the word. I'm hopeful that anything else happens besides an LA Knight and CM Punk team up at SummerSlam. Legitimately, I'll take anything else. But I think Seth winning here at Saturday Night's Main Event allows for the baby faces to win probably at SummerSlam, which our ever lovely co-host Air V1 will be there live and in color.
Yep, I'll be there in the wonderful armpit of the world known as New Jersey.
Nice.
Well, at least it's not the asshole like Ohio.
That's also true.
Filled with assholes. I can say that because I am one.
I see the way you are thinking about it, and I like it. But I think it goes the other way, where we have so many people that are willing to come out and beat Seth Rollins and his group up. And I think they're going to start steering away from Jay, just because we saw Jimmy team up with Jacob Fatu. I wouldn't be surprised if Jay suddenly gets in on that, or he's, quote unquote recruited by Jimmy. But right now we have LA Knight, Sami Zayn, Penta, and CM Punk. So we have a group, 4 people to come in and fight Seth Rollins and his group. So I wouldn't be surprised if LA Knight and his ragtag band of misfits stand tall at Saturday Night Main Event. SummerSlam comes around, we get a new member for Seth Rollins' group, which leads to War Games.
God, I hate it when you're right. And also, God, I hate it that it's confirmed to be War Games again.
Yep.
I mean, I don't hate that it's War Games. It's just I hate that I have this gut feeling that we already know the entirety of everything that's going to happen. That's what I hate about it.
Yeah, there doesn't really feel like there's a story that warrants War Games right now. But
not at the moment, at least.
Not at all.
yeah, but they have time to build it up. And hopefully they do, because they have a habit of not building anything and kind of, well, two matches, one of which we're going to talk about right now, are really big perpetrators of that. The one we'll talk about right now is for the World Heavyweight Championship, the main event of main event, Gunther versus Bill Goldberg.
Oh, and the crowd goes mild.
The laziest fucking excuse for why to have a match. He made fun of me in front of my family. I have to fight him in a match now.
By the way, this is the 5th match that has been advertised as Bill Goldberg's retirement match.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
If it's not the final one, because, again, we have seen that motherfucker almost kill a few people with botched-ass moves.
Yep.
I don't want him to ever attempt to lift Gunther, because if he hurts him, I will drive to his yeehaw fuck house and stab him myself.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly.
Because he almost dropped Undertaker on his head. He almost killed Bray Wyatt. He's not safe to work with anymore because he's old and he only ever knew how to use his muscle to do moves to begin with.
Goldberg was never good. And I understand that, you know, his greatest hits aren't really that hard to do at his age, right? Like, his opponent's getting them up, you know, you're getting yourself up for the jackhammer. He's taking a spear. It's easy to do. Like, I get
hold somebody for a jackhammer anymore.
Well, I mean, it's wrestling. You get yourself up there, you hold yourself there. But I get that they want him to just go out and hit the greatest hits and be done with it. But nobody gives a shit. I can't find one fucking person online that wants this. I can't find
why
one
would you
person.
Want to watch Goldberg?
I can't find one person in an arena that wants this match. Nobody asked for Goldberg to come back. The only people that ever wanted Goldberg back in the past 5 years have been the Saudi Arabians. And maybe that's where Goldberg should stay. But, you know, I guess Saudi Arabia's, you know, too far for him to bring his family with him. So he wants to just waste time. And I understand it's probably only going to be a 5-minute main event or whatever, but let that sink in. It's only going to be a 5-minute main event. This is a Goldberg match. He's not putting on 20-minute bangers, 30-minute bangers. It's not going to happen.
No.
Like, this is just a waste. This is an entire waste, and I understand it's the entire point of main event. And I understand that main event is for the nostalgia and blah, 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 and Goldberg fits him. Blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. This match is fucking pointless. It's a waste of time, and they could have put literally anything else here. Or, better yet, maybe don't have 3 fucking pay-per-views in one weekend, because we still have one more show to talk about happening on Sunday night.
My picks for the Goldberg match, then, instead of
everybody just has fun.
Instead of resounding with my co-host, my picks for the Goldberg match will be reading off comments from our community over on the TikTok.
Oh, beautiful.
From Dave Nien, he says, nope, Goldberg's not going to win. It's his retirement match in Atlanta. Serena Silva says, I think he'll win, but Seth is going to cash in on him afterwards. Robert Albrecht says Goldberg wins. Simple to the point. Here we go. DBCUSUSGYXGSGJ left a picture comment, probably making fun of me. Don't know how I feel about that one. If you're curious, it's over on the 3 Counted Out Podcast TikTok. And winding things down is Sammy Henderson saying somehow Old Turd wins and Seth cashes in on him as well. So we have 3 people thinking Goldberg's going to win, 2 of them thinking Goldberg's going to win and Seth cashes in on him, and 1 person thinking Gunther retains. Do with that information what you will.
If Goldberg wins, number one, talk about destroying the character of Gunther. And hopefully that would mean Gunther's leaving, because having to put over Goldberg and lose your belt in the process is absurd. However, if that happens, for some ungodly reason, Seth better win the belt that night, because we can't have Goldberg go out there and try and put on like a barn burner with the title. So I don't think there's any way he leaves Saturday Night Main Event with the title around his waist. And I hope to all that is holy that Gunther just beats the piss out of him. He's not going to give him a powerbomb, because I assume if Goldberg takes a powerbomb, he will turn to dust.
One could only hope so. One could only hope so, Mike. And we all know whose fault this is. It's actually Tommy Vendetta's fault for wanting this match 5 years ago. We know it. He said it himself.
Blame you, Tommy. Blame you.
Thanks a lot, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe while we're at it, can we also blame Tommy for Evolution 2? You think you can get any flack for that one, or?
I think the people of Atlanta are more excited to see any content that he's producing at the moment than matches that either A, don't exist, or B, have virtually no build to them. Well, so I guess by proxy, sure.
I mean, you'd be right about that, because Evolution 2, just like Evolution 1, is having absolutely horrible ticket sales. There's a lot of blue left on Ticketmaster. There's a lot of open seats. And part of that may be because, remember, this is Sunday night. So remember Saturday, Great American Bash. There is Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace versus JC Jane and the Fatal Influence, JC Jane and Jasmine. So opening up Evolution 2 Sunday night, crazy match here. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
A singles match for the NXT Women's Championship. JC Jane defending against Jordan Grace.
Huh?
Yeah, I assume this is so that way JC Jane can get one defense under her reign before she jobs out to Blake Monroe.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a waste. This is a waste of a spot for sure.
I mean, it's to get a women's match there, so that's nice, and we get to see Jordan
to get a
Grace
women's
wrestle
match,
for a
Mike.
belt,
They're
so
all women's matches. It's Evolution 2.
Exactly, but they're trying to make matches because they didn't have any, and that one.
They have 7 matches.
Yeah, they should have more that had storylines, and we don't have that.
Oh God. Yeah, it's hell of an opener. And then we're going to have a singles match for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky coming up against Rhea Ripley for like the fucking 6th time in Io Sky's reign.
Come on. You expect them to pick anybody other than Rhea Ripley? I mean, they only have, 2 people on Raw, right? That's all they have?
Okay, here's a rundown. Here's a rundown of what has happened to this Women's World Championship title. Okay, you ready for this?
Like we could have had Kyrie Sane facing Io in what would have been a barn burner.
This is a rundown from SummerSlam last year. SummerSlam last year, we had Liv Morgan holding the title going against Rhea Ripley. Then Bad Blood, we had Liv Morgan challenging Rhea Ripley, who was holding the title. Then at Saturday night's main event, we had Liv Morgan going up against Io Sky. Then on a Raw, we had Liv Morgan going up against Rhea Ripley. Then on a Saturday night's main event, we had Rhea Ripley going up against Nia Jax. Then on another Raw, we had Rhea Ripley going up against Io Sky. Then we had on another Raw, Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. And then at WrestleMania, we had a triple threat of Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. That has been the Women's World Championship title scene. That is every single person that has been involved since SummerSlam of last year. You can count that on one fucking hand.
Yep. They're good.
And I know where they're going with this. Rhea's going to beat Io, and she's going to hold this until Crown Jewel in Australia. That's where this is going. This is to get a title around the waist of Rhea Ripley.
Oh my God, I forgot that they're going to Perth. Oh,
yeah, they're going to Perth.
Do you think maybe she loses here so she can win it in Perth? To make the win more
there's more money in Rhea Ripley with a title around her waist there is without. And TKO is purely determined by profit at this point.
Also very, very true.
It sucks. It really, really fucking sucks because I know there's a lot of title defenses that I want to see EO have with that thing, and legitimately has done nothing since WrestleMania. Nothing.
Well,
And
come
that
on. It's
was
not like we
3
have
months ago.
Asuka back. Oh.
Oh.
Or Kyrie. Oh.
Or Alexa Bliss.
Oh.
Yeah, the brand split, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Alexa Bliss, she is on this card. She is an Evolution too, because they've had to make a little bit of a pivot here, because Liv Morgan is out injured. So Liv Morgan has been substituted by one Roxanne Perez, who has now been welcomed with open arms into the Judgment Day, and they are your WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Roxanne and Raquel. They are going up against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair and two more teams that are to be determined. They're going to come from Raw tonight and NXT on. So we will figure those out. But
damn, that means the rumor probably isn't going to happen. That's a shame.
What's the rumor?
Well, a certain team re-debuted on TNA.
Oh,
and
the
it was
Iconics.
iconic.
Yeah.
So they were talking about how they were going to see if they could get them for Evolution, but apparently that no happen. Unless they are going to be one of the sneaky teams, but
I don't know. I mean, maybe they come in under the NXT banner because like that's kind of where the TNA people have been coming through, but I don't know. I think
that ends up being like Zarya and Sol Ruka or something, and then we get like
maybe
Natalia and Maxine Dupree.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know who from Raw would be going there. You don't really have many options. But just seeing how this is going and seeing the people that they have announced right now, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair kind of have this, one-up each other going right now. So I think that's obviously going to be like, that's going to cost them the match type stuff. Obviously, they've had to pivot with Liv Morgan being injured. But that being said, Judgment Day is one to hold gold for as long as they can. So I assume that there's going to be some fucky shit that goes down, and Raquel and Roxanne are probably going to wind up retaining.
It's possible.
I really don't hate that shout because the pivot kind of allows them to have this sort of wiggle room to figure out what to do next, especially when it's just like a big sort of conglomerate hodgepodge type match when you're just throwing as much shit at the wall and seeing what sticks as you can grab onto. Like if you're just going to have this sort of mess of people, I think Evolution needs to be seen as the starting point for stories, even if, like we said the last match, even if the starting point is Rhea Ripley having another reign of terror that they're going to do nothing with. I think this could be another good starting point for tag team stories as well. And with this type of match, you can use all these tag teams to branch out and expand on all sorts of different things. One of them being, I feel like Alexa versus Charlotte is a good thing to have. Either of those women do literally anything would be cool for me personally, but I don't think that's enough for them to win the tag titles, and everybody else hasn't even been acknowledged at this point, so I don't think they're going to do that and win it a week away from the pay-per-view.
Well, I would agree with you both, except for the fact that WWE has a nice long history of going, hey, that's Charlotte, we should put a belt on her.
God. God.
Alexa they've had a little storyline going back and forth for like the last 2 months. So I think this is just kind of the tip of the cap, and then the turn comes later down the road while they already have the belts where they turn on each other, and that's when we get a match between the two of them or whatever. But Charlotte's even posting pictures of her and Alexa Bliss when they were like 5-6 years ago or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get belts on them for a bit, just so that Charlotte can have some form of gold.
Yeah, and I mean, Charlotte will go after a championship, but Charlotte will not be involved in the Battle Royal for a opportunity at the Women's World Championship at Clash at the Castle in Paris. So that's going to be happening later this year, I believe, before Survivor Series, I think. definitely before. Definitely before.
September.
Yeah. So it's September. So it's not an immediate shot, but an upcoming shot in the next few months. So far, there are only a couple. There are only 3 women announced: Ivy Nile, Stephanie Vicor, and Nia Jax are the 3 that are announced. Nia Jax, not surprising to see her announced for a Battle Royal. I believe
if she wins, I'm gonna be so goddamn mad.
Yeah, I think this is for Stephanie Vicor. She's kind of the biggest name on here that they have announced so far. But I mean, at the same time, this is Evolution. It's celebrating women's wrestling. Apparently, Nikki Bella or Brie Bella wants to come back with Nikki, so I'm sure there's going to be some surprises. People are also realizing that as of today at noon, WWE posted one of AJ Lee's full matches. So people are hoping maybe AJ Lee comes back during this and gets herself into an opportunity for the Women's World Championship. I really hope that this is an opportunity for a surprise. I would like an AJ Lee return. I think that would fit nicely here. But I mean, realistically, the biggest name that they have announced so far is Stephanie Vicor, and I'm sure she would do A-okay in Paris.
I too at one point was blinded by those nice, tall, long, lengthy Converse and was enraptured and enthralled in that widow's web. But unfortunately, albeit the depression, the sadness, or just coming to terms with it all, I think I finally accepted the fact that the
coming to what?
The coming to terms with it all.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think that AJ Lee return's ever gonna happen.
No, probably not.
I would love to eat my words. Oh my god,
Yep.
I would absolutely love to. Do I think it's gonna happen? Probably not. But for this one, a world title shot in Clash at the Castle in Paris, Clash at the Tower,
Clash in Paris is the official name.
Clash in Paris. You got to find someone that's going to do well with the international crowds. You got to find someone that the crowds really love. And I think the crowds love no one more other than Nia Jax, baby. Get a big.
I will come over to your house and kick you.
God damn.
Yeah, give me Nia Jax. Mike, did you come over and hang out and drink some beer? Let's go.
Oh no, I didn't say that. I was just gonna come over, kick you, and leave.
No.
All right, Mike. Who you got?
Oh, I got Stephanie.
They're gonna do it just purely so that way an international crowd can go as they hit the Devil's Kiss. That's what they're booking this one for. Then we have a match that has had exactly 2 weeks of build. Tiffany Stratton versus Hall of Famer. You may have heard of her, Trish Stratus, for the WWE Women's Championship. Horrible promo last week on SmackDown. Just absolutely horrible. But I mean, it sucks that this match has only had 2. Because of that, I mean, listen, they're not going to give Trish a belt with just 2 weeks of build, I don't think. Nor do I think they would take it off of Tiffany Stratton. She's making way too much money for the company right now. But this match should have been this should have been the WrestleMania match, right? Like it should have been Trish instead of Charlotte.
But then we wouldn't have seen Tiffany get her teeth knocked out and then pretend she didn't.
Yeah, but the star power, man. This feels like a correction on Triple H's part, where he's like, "Oh, whoops, I did kind of miss the ball there. Let's do it at Evolution." So it still kind of feels important.
It doesn't, though. It doesn't feel important at all.
No, it doesn't, and that's the problem.
I will say that I'm glad this match Trish isn't going to be diddling herself the whole time, because she isn't going to be fulfilling a fetish fantasy in front of a stadium full of people, and I'm not going to get thrown around by a giant Samoan woman. Instead, I actually just get to have a wrestling match this time, albeit
Very true.
I'm kind of we don't like relying on old people anymore. We don't like relying on the legends and the wrestlers. Oh, all women's legends? Perfect. Yes, Trish, you can come back and wrestle as many times as you'd like. I think the hypocrisy there is something that should be noted. However, I do think Tiffany Stratton here has got this in the bag, and I think it sets up beautifully for my little headcanon of Jade Cargill at SummerSlam, maybe getting that caution tape waltzing on down to the ring and sticking her little nose in Jade Cargill's business again. But this should be a fun, I'll say fun. I'm not going to say good. It should be a fun match.
You bring up the caution tape of Naomi and Jade Cargill. They are blowing that card at Evolution because Jade Cargill and Naomi will find themselves in a no holds barred match. They're going right to the top. They're going to let Jade Cargill kick some ass, hopefully. They're getting this feud right out of the way. They are not holding on to that for anything.
I was unaware that this match was happening. That either solidifies what I said or completely invalidates it in the slightest.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, I hope that they're freeing this. I hope that they're doing this to free Naomi up. You know, do this to get Jade Cargill out of the headlights of Naomi. I think in a no holds barred match, Jade Cargill can lose. She can go take some time off, come back as a heel, as AEW Jade Cargill, come back as that bitch, and then Naomi will win because, you know, heel bullshit in a no holds barred match makes tons of sense. And since she wins, now she's kind of riding a little bit high, gives her the opportunity to cash in. That's where I'm hoping this goes. But I mean, you know, it's WWE, so who knows if they're thinking that far ahead.
Fucking knows at this point, man.
Yeah, who knows?
I did not know this match was happening. I'm going to follow suit with my WrestleMania picks then. We're going to circle the whole way back. I'll still say Naomi standing tall because I've yet to see Jade face any sort of adversity that isn't anything that just writes her off of television.
I like the way you said that, where it almost sounded like at the end you were going to go, I'm Ron Burkett.
You can see my full confidence in my picks, Mike.
Just solely to be different, I am going to pick Jade.
She is, in fact, that bitch.
Yes.
She is, in fact, that bitch.
Is there anything else confirmed?
There's one more match. One more match because it wouldn't be Evolution without a 4 horsewomen match somewhere involved. I mean, Charlotte's already there. You have Becky, you have Bayley, and you have Lyra, who's not one of the 4 horsewomen, but still around. A triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. My throat is fucked.
This is a longer one since we've had 46 different pay-per-views to talk about.
Yeah, hey, WWE, don't do fucking 11 events. But yeah, so a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, the main event of Evolution 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Listen, this is to make Lyra Valkyria look like fucking Super Cena, right? Like this is this is obviously the 2 veterans putting over Lyra Valkyria, right? Right?
You would think that on paper is the smart thing to do, but I know
in theory, you saying that, yes, that's absolutely what it should be.
I'm going to go. Oh God, this one I'm the least confident about with anything. It should be Lyra. It really should be Lyra, but knowing WWE's track record, it isn't going to be. And I'm going to say Bayley.
Yeah.
And the title change is going to happen at SummerSlam more than.
Yeah, you're right. This is probably her payment for missing out on WrestleMania. But it should be Lyra. Like, if you wanted to establish the future of the women's division, Lyra Valkyria, great shoulders to put it on.
Yeah. Damn it. I mean, all right, so you said Lyra, he said Bayley. Again, I don't think it's going to be her because it would make zero fucking sense. I'm saying that now. It would make no sense to have her win, but I'm going to say it just to be different. Becky.
So one of us is going to get a point there.
Yeah.
But
it would make absolute fuck all sense for Becky to win
yeah.
in any capacity there. But
Yeah.
again, they don't always make what we call the most rational.
Becky winning would kind of be like a wet towel ending to this insanely long week of wrestling.
Yeah.
It would really, really, really be a waste. And again, it is a long week of wrestling, and this has been a long episode of the 3 Count Out podcast. So if you are still listening, that means you must really like us. So please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow. We post videos to our YouTube. Leave us a rating and a comment, and we'll read it off on the next episode. Gentlemen, do you have anything else to go over? Anything else you want to talk about as we crest the 2-hour mark? We do a little movie this week.
Wait, I know. Jackal, what about football?
It's
No?
now
Okay.
time for Jackal's Football Minute, starring Jackal.
Oh, I know that guy.
It's not back yet, and it won't be for about another 2 more months.
Oh.
This has been Jackal's Football Minute. If you enjoyed the things I said, you better enjoy all the videos that I've been posting to the YouTube channel as well.
Put in that work.
Now, deep into the course of the football season, you guys will be getting 2 videos a week at minimum, with more videos to come on the way. I do believe all of us are skipping College Football 26 this year, but we might be inclined to go into Madden 26 this year because it looks the tiniest bit better. So you better subscribe over on the YouTube. If you want to throw me some love, youtube.com/JackalJoker or twitch.tv/JackalJoker work just as good.
What were you going to say, Aaron?
Huh?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something before he started his ending stuff. I didn't know what you were going to say.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that you could find me over at twitch.tv/EraV1 or youtube.com/EraV1Music. I can officially say that there will be new music hopefully coming out by the end of August is what I'm looking at, titled Video Game Lo-Fi Remixes to Chill and Study To. Look out for that.
What about have sex to? Asking for a
you can
friend?
pay. Hey, I didn't want to put that on the title because of marketing, but if you want to put that on your fuck playlist, there's some bangers on there. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
I know what that means.
I snuck Seabat into one of them. That's a joke. I didn't. Although I guess I probably could. There's enough time to do it before it releases. Maybe I will. You're going to have to listen and find out.
Too late now. And if you're still listening to this, that means you either really like us, like he said before, or you fell into my trap, and now you're trapped here listening to this on repeat for all eternity. Have fun. And if you don't like that, that's okay. I am the raccoon in your trash can.
Are you the raccoon that ate my dinner? Because I was going to eat that like a couple hours ago, but I forgot to eat before we recorded.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. Well, Mr. Raccoon, sir, I'm just going to lay down here because, again, I want to go get dinner. So,
quick pin. I got it. We're all hungry. I got it.
One,
got it.
2, 3.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
See, nobody has to die. See? All right.
We got to go. See, it's easy. We can all get along.
But now you both have rabies. Sorry.
What the